Silence. It's deafening, as they say. Hi, folks. Eric Herdman here. We're talking about communication this month, and I wanted to talk to you about pauses and silence when you're communicating with someone. A lot of times when we have conversations, we have them in a spur of the moment or an impromptu type of conversation. We'll see somebody in the hallway and start a conversation with them, or kind of hit them up on Teams or give them a phone call, and they aren't prepared for that conversation, that communication. So a lot of times we have to do that because of the way we work. We need an answer. We need to discuss something quickly. So we'll reach out to someone and make a connection. It's important that when you start the conversation, you kind of frame it up, if you will, as to what we're talking about. And a lot of times after that opening statement or framing statement of what the conversation is about, you might have a question. When you ask that question, make sure that you pause and create some space or create some silence so that person has a moment to think about their answer and how they want to answer that, how they want to articulate that to you. Now, if you're in person or on video, one of the things to do to signal to that person that they have some time, that they have some space, is to break eye contact. We make eye contact when we ask the question, but I want to encourage you to break the eye contact after you ask the question to signal to that person, take a moment, think about that. That glaring eye contact that a lot of times we do to try to hurry them and close the gap of silence or a pause is oppressive. It's disruptive to the thinking process that they need to go through. So I want to encourage you again, after you ask a question, subtly break eye contact. You don't have to start staring out the window or doing something else, but just a subtle break of eye contact. And then as they start answering or speaking, you reestablish eye contact, you re-engage in the communication. Also, I get asked a lot, when you are asked a question, how do you handle that silence that you need to answer that question, to think of the answer, and again, how you want to articulate it? Again, sometimes we can telegraph that. Sometimes we can communicate after we get asked a question. That's a good question. I'm not prepared to answer that. Let me have a second if you wouldn't mind. You know what? That's an interesting question. Let me think about that for a moment. And then you break eye contact and again show that maybe pensive look of, I'm really thinking about that. And then as you start to answer, you reestablish the eye contact. Above all, don't be afraid of pauses. Don't be afraid of silence. Don't be afraid of when you're listening to someone and they're done speaking, take a pause, take a beat, take a second or two or 4 or 5 and think about what they've just said and then how you want to answer that. So good luck, folks. I'll see you in the next video.